How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to Putrika First Cut. I think we might be close to the end. I know this is a shorter visual novel or kinetic novel, and especially because this is just the first chapter, I think we're almost done. It took a pretty interesting turn. So when they went back into town and found that they were doing another basically unwarranted witch burning, which reflected on the story in the past for Ilsa or Ilya. God, what's her name? Was it Ilsa? Yeah. And so from the beginning, it wasn't like super obscure. I kind of thought it might throw us for a loop and be like, and not be the case because it felt so obvious. But yeah, like, so Ilsa and Lazriel are the same person. Lazriel being a more like a memory reset version. Probably something that Remi did himself to like try and help her have a new life, because like even though he saved her from the burning at the time, she felt she deserved it in some way. It seems that towards the end, she also had basically turned like her piousness into vindictiveness and kind of turned into a witch, which again, it reminds me a lot of Fata Morgana, which is really, I think, interesting, especially because they're taking this more metaphysical approach where it looks like angels and demons are real, where in the Fata Morgana series, that was much more ambiguous / not. This one's definitely more on that meta side. And speaking of which, it looks like a literal angel, Ansh, came to literally unlock our memories because she wanted us to do something. She wants to usher in like maybe the end times or something, and is using our kind of crazed cursing, like the desire that she has to try and curse everybody is maybe the catalyst for it somehow. And so it's interesting. I'm curious where it's going to go from here. And I'm overall like impressed with the story. Also, but I do also think like I would want to see like to finish it, I want to have the rest of the parts available. Like, and know that like the ending has been like played, like is playable, like of the entire story before I would finish it like truly. Because I know the second chapter's like exists. I don't think it's been translated yet. It might get translated down the line, but as of right now, we'll have to see. But still very fun, and of course, always very happy to support new publishers. And I guess Kagami Games has just announced, I think, 2 more projects that are going to be released this year, like translation projects, which is very exciting. So keep an eye on them. But yeah, let's see where this goes. Maybe this is the end. Maybe it's not. Let's find out. All right. Ansh was unfazed as she confronted Remi's rage head on.
どうしました?私を殺そうとしていたのでは?
The tension between them was palpable until Ansh broke the silence. Remi bit his lip as he continued to glare at her.
自殺願望があるのなら、かかってきなさい。悪魔の人形遊びをここで終わりにしてあげる。
An end to your fiendish make-believe. Like, why? Like, what is he making? Is he pretending to be human and that's the make-believe, or is there something more?
Ilsa! 待って。
Before I knew it, my injuries were fully healed.
私は大丈夫だよ。レミ君のおかげで自分を取り戻せたから。
Okay, interesting. I'm a little surprised if you have all your memories unlocked, you bounced back rather quickly.
Lazriel.
He looked into me with concern still visible in his eyes.
驚きました。もう感知したんですか?とんでもない化け物ですね。
You're one to talk. Ansh sighed as she sat on the cathedral altar. Her body language betrayed her lack of reverence for the place we were in.
ねえ、レミ君。
I needed to hear it from him. I couldn't afford to remain oblivious to my own existence any longer.
私は人間じゃないんだよね。
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was curious about too, because like if it was Ilsa, and now she's not, like something massively changed, because she's definitely not normal now. So what is that? And again, that's the thing too, like maybe they will throw that curveball. The curveball that I was wondering might be like, what if she was an angel that like broke when Ilsa went through all that and like became kind of like her, or because like maybe those memories aren't actually us, but rather they're the memories of the girl that drove an angel insane. Maybe that's what it is. The cut on my finger recovered at an astonishing rate. That was proof that I wasn't human at all. With a sad look, Remi nodded.
私は魔女なの。違う。
He's like, no, not a witch. He gave me a firm answer.
あなたは呪いのかかった宝石から作られた
Oh.
宝石人形だ。記憶がないのは忘れたからじゃなくて、あなたがまだ生まれたばかりの存在だからだ。
A doll created from a cursed gemstone, a gemstone effigy. So wait, maybe what this is the gemstone... The lapis lazuli, maybe? The gemstone contained the memories of the girl he tried to save. That's interesting. What is that? How's that work? I wasn't human. I wasn't a witch, a demon, or even an angel. I was created.
じゃあレミ君が私を作ってくれたんだね。
Yeah, what's with that? How did he do that? I felt my chest tighten with pain, but I forced myself to smile through it. Remi looked apologetic. I didn't want to see him look at me like that way.
どこが人形ですか。神様も驚いてしまうくらいとびっきりの奇跡ですよ。悪魔の子が人そっくりの精巧な人形を作ってしまうなんて。
Yeah, the implication is
それ
that
こ
he...
そ
Oh,
厄
sorry.
災の再来です。
I don't know about the whole calamity thing and whatnot, but like the idea that he basically created an independent life form, like from scratch, is interesting. That's what makes me wonder though. Like she has memories of this, of the girl she was, like, or like apparently was Ilsa. What if that's the thing? What if the soul, or what if her soul got trapped in that cursed gemstone and he basically used like a homunculus body to draw it out and give it another chance?
悪魔の子、知らないことばかりなんですね。レミは悪魔として扱われていますが、厳密には違います。
Oh, interesting.
我らが恩敵、かの大悪魔によって創造されたデク人形です。
So Remi's not a demon is either. He was created as a demon. So he's also a homunculus type thing. I wasn't alone. Remi was also created.
よかったですね、ラズリエル。大好きなレミ君とお揃いですよ。
Okay. What's your game here, Ansh? Like I don't understand. Like I don't understand her motivation. I don't understand her like path to victory. She claims like she's super strong. Why hasn't she just destroyed us? Can't she act against us? I imagine angels would be restricted in how they can interact with, like, mortals, for example. But we're not mortals then. Why can't she just snap her fingers and blow us up? Maybe that's the point. She wants us around. It took Anj pointing out my feelings for me to be aware of them. The truth of my origins left me feeling lonely, but knowing that Remi was just like me was a source of comfort. I was happy that Remi wasn't a human or a demon.
ごめん、ラズリエル。どうしてレミ君が謝るの？今まで秘密にしていたから。
I didn't want to see him look like the world had ended for him. It wasn't his fault that I was feeling terrible.
私のためだって言ってたよ。だからいつもみたいに優しく笑って。
Like, I think it's one of those things where, like, it feels like it's never great to hide the truth from people, but there's an argument to be made sometimes that it is right. Like, for example, if he'd just come out and said this from the get-go, I feel like it would have shut her down, like, from day one. But because of the way he did it, she kind of got to get a sense of, like, who she was, what she liked, that came from her own, like, investigations. She got to, like, decide that she wanted to be friends with people. She got to make a friend with Rubia. That feels real. Rubia is also a creation, but I don't think so. Like, the fact that she has now, like, a foundation of, like, she has things in life worth living for might be the best time for her to find this kind of stuff out, because, like, that can be a source of, like, comfort and inspiration to kind of pull her back.
笑う？俺はあまり笑わないから。
That wasn't true in the slightest. The little glimpses of a smile he showed every so often always brightened my world.
私はラズリエルなんだよね。イルサじゃなくてラズリエル。ああ、あなたは間違いなく
Okay.
ラズリエルだ。
I do want you to explain though how we're connected to Ilsa, because that matters. Like that we should know. Remi spoke as if he was trying to convince himself, but the angel present with us wouldn't allow that.
イルサの記憶がある理由を教えてあげないといけませんよ。
No, he's so evil for an angel.
それは
Remi was hesitant to say it.
イルサの死体を材料にしたからでしょ。
Oh, well, that would make sense.
うん
Ansha's words cornered Remi. I looked to him, hoping that it would deny it, but he could not.
死体を材料に
A sense of vertigo assaulted me. It took everything I had to restrain the urge to cover my ears.
違う。私が今聞きたいのはそんなことじゃない。
I had to change the topic or I'd be driven mad. The revelation that I was at this very moment occupying someone's corpse was a lot to take in. Yeah, what do you even make of that? Is she a zombie? Not really. She's like a whole different person. And she seems well enough, but like, is this corpse that she's inhabiting, like, is it like, was it like recently dead and kind of like you could see this almost like a shell being piloted by a new person? Or was she like super gone, like super burned or something, and is now like basically a walking zombie? And then how's that work? She doesn't look zombie-ish.
どうしてアンシュは私の中のイルサを刺激したの？アンシュの目的は？
Ansha's animosity is directed at me. That was clear as day. Dissecting her intent was the only thing I could do to distract myself.
それはね、
It seems she saw fit to humor me.
宝石人形にこの町の人間を皆殺しにしてほしかったんです。
Just a casual angel wanting to massacre people. Granted, based on how the people have been behaving, it does feel like they could be worthy of divine retribution. But you feel like if they actually were, she could do it herself. Why does she have to try and make a puppet do it? Maybe because she can't, like, it's not within the rights of an angel to make a decision like that. So why is she trying to? Her words were unbefitting of an angel.
俺と天使たちの間には相互不干渉な契約が結ばれている。それは人間を殺してはならないという制約付きだ。
Yeah, see, that's what I figured.
眷属の罪は主人に帰するもの。イルサの像を受け継いで虐殺を行えば、悪魔の人形にも天罰が下されるはずでした。
Oh gosh.
残念ながら失敗に終わりましたが。
That's very dangerous because Lazriel is a like entity of her own sake, right? But because it's like kind of a loophole in the accord, the contract, her actions will be like Remi will be held accountable for her actions, which is really interesting. Because you could argue the angels should be stewards of mortals, but why are they held accountable for the mortals' actions? Well, that wouldn't be fair. So why was Remi being held accountable for her actions?
レミ君を追い詰めるためだけに町の人を殺めようとしたっていうの。
That is a really good question.
どうしてそんなことを？
Oh, I clicked early. Again. Her cruelty was unbefitting of an angel.
どうして？そんなの見ればわかるはず。
I mean, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Ilsa's gaze sharpened as she glared back at me. Ilsa's gaze?
人間の死体を材料に自我を持つ人形を生み出すなんて世界を揺るがすほどの脅威です。それは届いてはならない神の領域。生物の創造など許されるはずがありません。
On one hand, I can get that, because it's basically like a form of life creation, which is supposed to be in the Lord's purview, right? But here's the thing. I would also counter with saying, if all creation is his, if everything in the world and everything in the world works the way it does because of him, doesn't that mean that the fact that Remi can do this by design means that it is technically part of his will? That's the thing about like an all-powerful, all-omnipotent, and all-knowing being, is that you can't really look at anything and like you can't use it as like, oh, it's an abomination, it's a like a mistake. It's like, well, technically no. If someone's all-powerful, all-knowing, and exists through all time and space, then that entity would know that they would know that such things could be done and would be done eventually. So it can't be like an encroachment on the Lord's authority, because technically it's by his authority that it happens, just not by his hand. Her ferocity left me speechless.
大丈夫だよ。 ラズリエル。
Remi reassured me as gently as he could.
暗種の企みは失敗に終わった。暗種にはこれ以上どうすることもできない。仕方がありません。今回はここまでとしておきましょう。
Ange looked away, having lost interest.
ですが、忘れないでくださいね。他の人が見逃そうとも、私はあなたの存在を認めません。いずれ思い知ることになるでしょう。
Having an angel as an enemy does seem like a very problematic thing. Ange hopped off the altar and headed toward the door.
では、また。
Nope. A flash of light blinded me. Once it faded, Ange was gone. There were only two of us left in the cathedral. An unpleasant mood filled the air.
ラズリエル。
It took a minute until Remi finally spoke up.
知っていることをすべて話そう。もともと隠すつもりはなかったんだ。ただ、生まれたばかりのあなたにどこまで説明しようか迷っていただけなんだ。
It's definitely an understandable position, but it put her in a lot of danger. He then picked up a book off the ground. It was the memory Ange had handed me, The Tragedy of Twilight Ridge.
これはイルサの実父によって記されたある町に起きた事件を記した歴史書だ。しかし、俺が知っている事実といくつか異なる点がある。
Interesting. Now, was it changed by the angel, or is it just a misremembering?
どういうこと？そもそも、イルサは魔女として処刑されていない。
Oh. He didn't hesitate to reveal the truth.
俺は、魔女狩りに染まるあの町から、イルサを連れて逃げ出した。火あぶりにされたのは、イルサじゃない。だから、
Whoa.
この書の記述は間違っている。
So, who was burned at the stake then? Again, I heard a voice. There was someone screaming inside my body. A dark impulse that threatens to devour me.
あなたの体には、イルサの記憶が残されている。だから、あなたにはわかるはずだ。
Oh,
あの日、イルサの身に何が起きたのかを、俺の知らない真実を。
He's trying to he's saying look, if we want to know the truth, you're gonna have to find it because you're the only one who knows. Ah, I knew it. I recognized the look in his eyes. I remembered the kindness he showed me. Everything was but the continuation of the story between Remi and Ilsa.
レミ君。
I whispered back.
この気持ちは、私のものだよね。
Uh-oh. Is she talking about her affection for him? Did Lazriel truly exist? The luster of the gemstone's curse shone unabated. Even now, Ilsa's pitch-black rage slumbered within me. Interesting.
イルサ、あなたはね、九死に一生を得たことがあるのよ。
It was a faint memory. I was far too young to remember, and yet the memory lingered.
火を吹き出しそうなほどの高熱にうなされたあなたは、3日3晩病魔に苦しんで、今にも力尽きかけようとしていたの。
This is Ilsa's mom, I'm guessing. I did remember it was a stormy night. There were no means to obtain medicine at such short notice in the village like ours. My mother could only pray as she held me in her arms and begged for help.
あなたがいなく
Oh,
なっ
it's
た
the
ら、
angel, right?
私は生きていけないわ。もう二度と愛する人を失いたくないの。
Oh, was the angel not an angel at all, actually? I was all but doomed to pass away within my mother's embrace.
誰か助けて。この子の熱が収まらないの。お願い、誰か。
Desperation drove my mother to the nearby woods. When all else failed her, she clung to fairy tales.
この子が助かるのなら、どなたでも構いません。どうか、この子を救ってください。
Such as those of the terrifying witch that lurked deep within the forest. She could only hope that somebody versed in witchcraft might save her deathly ill infant. And her prayers were answered. A being that defied all understanding appeared before my mother. That being granted me luster and released me from suffering. Or lustra.
今となっては よく思い出せないの。あの時、あなたの身に何が起こったのか。
Another manipulation of memory.
あなたを助けてくれたのか。
Could it have been Remi the whole time, maybe? Because it seems like he has some kind of ability to suppress memories, maybe. But again, though, the memories that we thought he was suppressing were those of a dead person. So maybe that had nothing to do with Remi. And because she had amnesia, because she woke up not knowing, like, because she'd just been born. But it's interesting that she was born with a lot of innate knowledge. Maybe that was echoes of Ilsa in her.
だけど、あなたが生きてくれて本当によかった。今日も神様に祈りを捧げないとね。
Indeed, I was granted a miracle, one more wonderful than I deserved. An angel bathed in divine light descended upon me, her presence breathtakingly beautiful. As she took my frail hand in hers, her love and tranquility wiped away all traces of the fever that had haunted me. I knew right then and there how fortunate I was. To think that an angel saw fit to descend and bless me, a mere human, still newborn at that. From that day forth, my heart was filled with faith and worship for the angel that saved me. And thus I lived, spent my quiet days in the village, grew up. One could hardly believe I was ever bedridden with fever.
きっと天使様が祝福してくれているのです。
I went to church every day and dedicated all my time to prayer. The quiet atmosphere there soothed me.
主よ、私はすべてを捧げることを誓います。
My faith guided me and provided me with purpose. All I had to do was believe in the Lord's love, and I would one day be reunited with the angel I owed my life to. That was my purpose in life.
イルサ、教会なんて退屈だろ？遊んでやるよ。
I believe the boy's name was William? He was a little older than me and more energetic. He would try to invite me outside. To be quite honest, I wasn't interested. There was no better use of my time than prayer, and no point conversing with those disrespectful of faith.
ごめんなさい、私行かなくちゃ。
おいなんだよ。せっかく誘ってやったのにさ。
So she was very unimpressed with them, with him in general. In hindsight, that might have been his way of looking out for me. The more I dedicated my time to worship, the more isolated I became. It made sense. Scriptures and prayer were incredibly dull to other children my age. Despite that, William still tried to include me when he could. That was how I spent my days. At home, I would help my mother with her handcrafts, and when I had free moment, I would head to church. When was it that things changed? At the very least, it was when my body started to develop to the end that the gazes upon me started to feel unpleasant.
あれはイルサか。いやはや、随分と立派に成長して。ああ、いや、体はないが。
Men would sneak glances at me.
まあ、イルサ、少し時間はあるか。
Oh my gosh.
だったら、
What creeps. They looked at my body like they were inspecting livestock. I was often the subject of the lustrous intent behind their eyes, even if I didn't want to be. I could have worn clothes that exposed less of my skin. But I felt it was wrong that I should be the one to change. Why must I refrain from wearing what I fancied?
ごめんなさい、私行かなくちゃ。
I understood that I didn't blend in with the rest of the village and their values. It became clear that the only way I could live was in solitude, away from the gazes of others. The only escape I had from their eyes was the Lord's teachings.
愛する信徒の皆さん。今日私が皆さんに伝えたいのは、姦淫の罪についてでございます。主の教えは、姦淫を明確に罪であるとしています。
This creepy priest.
私たちは、
I clicked early.
心と体を清らかに保ち、誠実でなければなりません。
He speaks so slowly. I came to view that sexuality with heavy disdain.
姦淫とは、 主が私たちに与えられた聖なる絆を汚し、家族愛を傷つける行為です。一時の肉体的な欲望に流
Gosh
さ
darn it,
れ、
he's still talking!
神の愛と教えから背を向けることを意味するのです。
Okay, I'm not crazy, right? That pause was way too long. Way too long. The Lord's teachings affirmed my disdain and provided me relief.
私たちは神の教えに耳を傾け、自分自身の行動を顧みなければなりません。日々の誘惑に立ち向かい、神の御心にかなう生き方を選ぶことこそ、私たちの信仰の証なのですから。
Okay, are you done now? The Reverend's words gave me the strength to push on. And yet... As I exited the church one day, William called out to me.
あんま教会に行くんじゃねえよ。いや、
Uh-oh.
神様の教えを否定しているわけじゃなくて、お前が一人で行くのが問題なんだ。
Uh-oh. Maybe creepy priest was the right word after all.
どういうこと？
いや、その。
William seemed hesitant to speak up. He wouldn't meet my gaze as he fidgeted.
イルサは無防備だから、もうちょっと警戒しておいた方がいい。
ウィリアム君は私を心配してくれてるの？
Aw, that's kind of sweet.
そうじゃねえよ。別に心配で様子を見に来てるわけじゃねえし。
でも今日だって教会の外で待ってたし、昨日も。
たまたまだって誤解すんなよ。
はあ。
He blushed as he shook his head. Why were boys his age so awkward?
あいつは危ねえやつなんだよ、マジで。ここだけの話、そういう噂があんだよ。
あいつとは？
ブラックウッドの野郎だ。
Blackwood guy.
あいつは昔から女癖が悪いんだよ。神父の仕事にかこつけて
Ooh,
旦那のいる女を口説いてるって。
interesting. And terrifying.
まさか神父様に限って？
俺だって驚いたさ。でもあいつはそうやって背徳の行いをずっと繰り返してきて。
Hmm.
そんなわけないもん。
I instinctively rejected the idea.
神父様は私のことを変な目で見たりはしないもん。他の人やウィリアム君とは違って。
Flush. The boy's face turned bright red.
見てねえよ。俺はイルサの牛みてえな父になんて興味ねえし。
Oh, those are gonna be words you're gonna regret.
胸のことなんて私は言ってないよ。やっぱり見てたんだ。気持ち悪い。
I turned away, eager to cut the conversation short. I didn't want to listen to him for a moment longer.
イルサ
It didn't end there. William tried to embrace me from behind while I was vulnerable.
何をするの？
違うんだイルサ。誤解しないでくれ。俺は。
He tried to restrain me with his strong arms as he made excuses for himself. That moment was a harsh reminder of the difference in physique between boys and girls.
あいつは本当に危ねえやつなんだ。俺はイルサが心配なだけなんだ。信じてくれ。
痛いよ。やめて。
暴れるなよ。俺の言うことを聞いてくれたらこんなことは。
Nothing more comforting than hold still and don't try and struggle while I talk to you. I tried to push his hands away, but he wouldn't let go. He had the gall to ask me to believe him while he forced himself on me. He was a monster through and through.
イルサ、俺は。
I couldn't comprehend what was happening, so all I could do was say what was on my mind.
気持ち悪い。
I told him my honest feelings.
吐き気がするほど気持ち悪い。
With a terrified whimper, he finally came to his senses and let me go.
ごめん、イルサ。でも嘘じゃないんだ。あいつは本当に。
Unfortunately, you've undermined your own argument, boy.
私にとってはウィリアム君の方が恐ろしいよ。
It was him who ogled my body endlessly and laid his hands on me without my consent. And the nerve of him to try and defame the Reverend. The Reverend lived under the angel's gaze. He could never.
違う、イルサ。俺はただお前のことが。
二度と近寄らないでください。
Oof.
あなたのことが嫌いです。
Zishka. Was he truly worried for my sake? Or did he have ulterior motives? It's hard to know.
痛い。
My wrists were still swollen red from where he tried to grab me. The fear left my body trembling and wouldn't stop.
ごめん、イルサ。
I bit my lip and resolved not to show any vulnerability to him. If he knew I was scared of him, he might not stop next time.
はあ、天使様。どうして人間は清らかにはなれないのでしょうか。
The Lord's words proved true yet again. One mustn't give in to temptations of the flesh. After I cut off any further contact with William, there was no one left in the village to talk to me in turn. Everyone seemed to be distancing themselves from me. Occasionally, I would overhear them spreading baseless rumors. It was clear that they were all bad-mouthing me. The girls would purposely whisper just loud enough for me to hear and then giggle to themselves. It was a form of entertainment for them.
暇な人たち。
Had they understood the Lord's teachings, they would have known better than to waste their time on such nonsense. Instead, they indulged themselves in acts that tainted their souls. They would never achieve happiness. At one point, I realized that I wasn't the only subject of their gossip. The villagers seemed to be avoiding William, too. He had earned their ire for paying attention to me before.
違うんだ。俺はイルサのことなんて。
His excuses seemed somehow laughable. Should I spread word that he tried to assault me, what little standing he had led in the village would collapse. Maybe that was why there was fear in his eyes whenever we passed by each other now.
関わらないでいてくれるのなら別に。
I was fine. Did one need companionship to pray to the Lord? Not in the least. I had no reason to yearn for others. I found myself often visiting the forest at the edge of town. I wanted to be somewhere where no one else around, somewhere I could forget the time and be at peace.
本当に静かだ。
A few steps in and my feet were covered in dirt and damp leaves. It hadn't rained. The path was just naturally humid, with little sunlight passing through the trees to begin with. The natural scent of mud and trees was pleasant and refreshing.
綺麗な場所。みんなどうしてここが恐ろしい場所だって言うんだろう。
It was strange, however, that somewhere so brimming with nature had no signs of animals nor insects around. The woods were so pristine that perhaps they didn't dare desecrate it.
ワクワク。
It's exciting, though, but she said that waku waku, which is, I've definitely heard that before. As I progressed deeper in, I heard water. A clear natural spring was right there to greet me. Its surface was still. It was like I was looking into a mirror. I couldn't believe there was a sight this serene right in the middle of the woods. The moment I laid eyes upon it, I thought I had found a treasure of a lifetime. But it seemed I was wrong. It was not this scene, but the meeting that accompanied it that I would treasure for all my life.
君は誰？
Okay. My heart skipped a beat. Who is this person? Because this kind of looks like Lazriel, doesn't it?
あなたはまさか。
In that moment, the embodiment of divine and indescribable beauty called out to me.
天使様。
Her eyes were a deeper shade of blue than the sea and gentler still. Her smile was the face of mercy. Her voice rang out like heavenly bells.
ずっと祈り続けて
because this looks like Lazriel, isn't it? I knelt to pray right there on the spot. My faith was rewarded at last. There could be no greater happiness than this.
えっと、
She shook her head, troubled.
私は人間よ。君の天使じゃないの。
At the springs, I encountered a miracle. The girl who seemed in every way like the servant of God captivated me.
ここに来るのは初めて？はい、初めてです。どうしてそんなに緊張しているの？いつかお会いした天使様とよく似ているからです。風貌は違うのですが、雰囲気がそっくりで。天使と巡り合ったことがあるんだ。君はすごいんだね。
Just a hint of her smile drove me wild. My cheeks flushed as I failed to keep my calm. My heart pounded and I felt like I was burning up inside.
君の名前は？イルサと申します。そう、素敵な名前ね。
The two of us sat by the spring and talked. The conversation was awkward and clumsy, but gradually we opened up. She told me she moved into the woods recently. She was born in a foreign land, but moved here along with her father to visit her mother's place of birth.
森の奥はとても静かで、時々寂しい顔をする。泉のほとりで景色を眺めていると、心が落ち着くの。ここは特別な魔法が施されているみたい。
So, how's this gonna play out? Because now I'm starting to wonder, like, because they said Ilsa didn't die that day. Was it her that died? And if this is Lazriel, or who would become Lazriel, why then do we have these memories and stories of Ilsa? Like it's odd. I don't get it.
わかります。一目見て目を奪われてしまいました。自然の中には私たちが忘れがちな大切なものがあるのかもしれないわ。それはきっと街にいたら見えないものが。
It's true. Every word she spoke left a deep impression.
あなた様のお母様はこの町の人なのでしょうか？ええ。と言っても母はもう亡くなってしまったの。私が生まれると同時にね。だから私は母のことを知らない。それなのに今ここにいるとまるで母とつながっているような気がするの。
Her calm presence was a stark contrast from the villagers. It might have been due to her foreign upbringing, or because she was just so beautiful. Her reflection in the water seemed very much like an angel, and I couldn't stop staring. She would notice me, and she'd just smile back and repeat the same words as before.
私はただの人間よ。
I understood that. The more I spoke with her, the clearer it became that she was indeed just another person. But that did not calm me. If anything, meeting this angel of a girl evoked in me an emotion I'd never felt before.
イルサ。
My heart skipped a beat every time she called my name. I couldn't stay composed under her gaze. We sat there for hours as we talked about nothing important. Just talking as what to her was refreshing. There's no one in the village like her. Are we gonna find her name? Our conversation flowed as smoothly as the water in the springs at our feet.
もう帰らなくちゃ。
She stood up before it got dark.
またあなた様に会いに来てもよろしいでしょうか？もちろん。でも、あなた様じゃなくて名前で呼んでほしいな。
Yeah, and it is?
あなた様のお名前を口にするなんて。リューシー。
Lucy. It was graced with her name.
親しみを込めて呼んでほしい。私たちは友達でしょ？
Oh my gosh, Ilsa, you're so smitten. Holy crap. Her soft gaze pierced deep into my heart. Meeting her changed my world completely. After that, I visited the woods regularly. I spent less time in church, felt that my time with her was how I would best express my devotion.
この泉の水には不思議な力があるような気がしているの。夜になるとね、星の光が水面に映って、まるで別世界に運ばれたような錯覚がするのよ。私にはあなた様の存在がそうさせているような気がします。ぜひいつかはあなた様の傍らで夜の泉を眺めてみたいです。
Ilsa, it's clear you have a crush, but holy crap, you gotta calm down. You're gonna scare her away.
リュシーよ。あなた様はくすぐったいわ。リュシー 様。
She said, "Dearest Lucy here," but she said Lucy Sama.
もう
I knew she wasn't actually an angel, but to me, I could not view her as anything less.
この世界には人には見えない美しさや不思議なことがたくさんあるわ。耳を澄ませば風や木々の声が聞こえてくる。いつか本当に天使が降臨してくれるのかもね。天使様は降臨してくださいました。
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so corny.
バカね。
Lucy smiled upon me gently. She would react kindly whenever I sang praises of her angelic demeanor.
本物の天使様は私なんかよりもずっと高貴で美しかったはず。そうでしょ？そんな。
She would tease me with such questions. The thought that I might compare the two pained me more than words could express.
あなた様は私の言葉を信じてくださるのですね。天使を見たっていう？はい。街の中でもそれを信じてくれる人は家族だけでした。同世代の子供たちからはバカにされて。疑う理由がないもの。この世界の小さな奇跡はあちこちに散らばっている。私
Yeah.
はその全てを知っているわけではないわ。
Just because I've never seen a ghost or an angel or anything like that wouldn't make me immediately dismiss. I'd be skeptical maybe, but like if someone came to me like earnestly said like, "Hey, I feel like I've seen an angel," I'd be like, "Okay." The problem would be is if people start using excuses like I've seen angels and start saying that they know best how to dictate the lives of others, where I start getting a little hesitant to be like, okay, like, but as far as it's like only you, like if you're like, hey, I saw an angel and it's inspired me and I believe this is the path that my life is supposed to take, then that makes total sense in a lot of ways. Whether it's real or not doesn't matter. It's like really, like as long as it kind of it's a motivation for you, then it might as well have been real. I don't know, it gets complicated because people use that as a means of trying to like inspire and coerce people. Like it could be positive or negative, and it's tough. It's tough to know. She saw a much larger picture of the world than the simple country girl like me could imagine. With a heart wider than the sea, she easily accepted the parts of me that the villagers could not. 町の人が私に下品な視線を向けてくるのです。肌を見せないような格好にしようかと何度も悩みました。ですが、私の好きなものを曲げることがどうしてもできなくて。君の発育の良さは目に毒かもしれないわね。 She giggled.
冗談ではありません。以前に見ないでくださいと口にしたら、そんな格好をするなと怒鳴られてしまいました。私は悔しくて。見られたくてこの格好をしているわけじゃないのに。君のその愛らしい格好がとても好きよ。
Lucy embraced my individuality readily.
それでも君は自分のしたい格好を貫いている。人々にとっては異様に見えても、それが君だものね。
Be cute the way you
だ
want
か
to
ら
be.
君はそれでいいの。いつまでも可愛くて魅力的な君でいてほしい。
I think that's a phrase we could all live by. Be cute the way you want to be.
ルシー様。
She accepted all that I was. She was the only person in the entire world who did.
自分の感覚を大切にする人でありなさい。大きな声や流れに揺られているだけの人とは違う。周囲から孤立することを恥じる必要はないわ。もっと自分を誇りなさい。君はこんなにも美しいのだから。
I was on the verge of tears. As someone like me who always stood out as a sore thumb, her words were like a magic balm.
あなた様はどうして私が欲しい言葉を。
God, just like feel like words of affirmation, just wanting somebody to like accept you for who you are. I mean, that's a powerful thing. She did so easily while others could not. She was truly an angel.
イルサ。
Her smile, merciful and gentle, melted my heart. I could not comprehend the feelings that dwelled within me. I believed that my feelings for her were those of a dear friend and an ardent believer, nothing more. But
イルサは好きな男の子はいるの？気になる人とかいない？
the day she broke that topic, I felt as if my heart was being skewered.
いませんよ。男の子なんて怖いだけですから。意外ね。イルサは可愛いから引く手あまただと思ったのに。それはルシー様にこそふさわしい言葉です。私は
Lucy looked far into the distance.
恋とは少し違うような気がするけど、面白いなって思ったのはあの時の。
I didn't have the courage to listen to her reminisce. The thought that she might yearn for someone else sent me into turmoil. Finally, I understood how I felt about her. Oh, good! 'Cause it felt like it was freaking obvious to everyone else, but that's how emotions are, right? Man, growing up, having crushes, falling in love, all that stuff, it's like so much easier to see it for other people than for it's your life. It's just like, it could be right in your face and you're like, I don't know, I'm not sure. Like someone will be flirting with you, like flat out flirting with you. If you saw them doing that with somebody else, you'd immediately know it was flirting, but it's happening to you, and like, at least for me, I would always be like, oh, they're just being nice, or like, I don't know, like, I don't want to mess this up, I don't want to misinterpret this, and it's frustrating, because that wishy-washiness comes from the fear of, like, you really enjoy what you have, and you're terrified of losing it, and so, like, while you would absolutely love nothing more than to take that next step, to take that leap, to be able to push that relationship to the next level, it's so wonderful of an idea, but it's so horrifying because of like that inner, like, the horror of the idea that it might end at all. What if things get awkward? What if I lose what I have? And that is like the subconscious motivator for why I think we blind ourselves to a lot of things like flirting, because we're like, at our core, we're so terrified because we'd rather have what we have now than lose it, even if it means, like, not being able to progress. It's interesting.
私は恋焦がれている。
It would have been better if I had never realized. The shock upon discovering my own feelings sent me spiraling.
なぜ私はこのような気持ちを抱いてしまったのでしょうか。
Especially because if this religion is based on like Christian religion, like it seems to be, then this would be super forbidden by a very traditional sense. The panic and guilt threatened to tear me apart and consume me whole. It was unthinkable for someone of my faith to engage in acts of homosexuality. Yeah, there we are.
一体
To hold these feelings was akin to betraying the Lord. He would not allow for a woman to love another woman. Which,
痛い
yeah, which feels cruel, doesn't it? I knew my love was forbidden, and yet still it would not fade. I covered my face in shame that I could not face my guardian angel, but a part of me was willing to accept even that. My love for Lucy could not be contained. I yearned for her.
イルサ
Guilt tried to weigh me down, but the slightest utterance from her lips released me. To love her was my purpose, one that I carved itself deeper into my heart with each moment we spent together.
ルシー様
She had become a divine figure of my love and my worship.
私は汚れてしまったのでしょうか。
The Lord would not forgive me for having such thoughts. Love between those of the same sex was deplorable sin. Man, don't take these lines out of context. That'll sound real weird. Oh. Uh-oh. I think I'm seeing how this all starts to play out, aren't we? I feel like we're getting close to, like, I feel like I'm getting to the point where I might want to stop for now, because like I'm almost like I'm in a good mood. I don't want to shatter it or get like halfway through things. Okay, I know it's not quite what I was expecting. I guess we got more to this than I thought, but I feel like we should end here for now. Like, it's not the best, but at the same time, like, it's been nice and kind of lovely so far, and like we can take the trauma next time. And then the after effects. I imagine that we don't have much more of this memory because we're going to kind of see how things play out here. But Yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy about where this is already here right now. It's like, ugh. So, we'll end here for now and get back to it next time. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your patience. And for those of you who are joining this series, I am grateful to have you here, and I'm looking forward to being able to share these stories with you in the future. It means the world to me that we are able to spend this time together and kind of continue to explore these stories and games and everything. I got a lot of life stuff going on too. Like, another big change is kind of on the horizon, I think. But I think it should be a positive one. But we'll see. It might have an effect on the way that the content is made on the channel. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But regardless of that, I'm very excited for the future and what it brings. So thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to sharing some of the details with you. Hopefully, if you're a patron or a member of the channel, you were able to see the recent patron cast we did. It was a very fun one for me. Something I've kind of been wanting to show for a while and was able to kind of give a showcase of, and I've still been working on it, so the project is still a go. It's just very, very small, like little bursts of progress at a time. So I'd like to maybe find a way to get more work done on it, but I only have so much time in a day, so I don't know, we'll see. Regardless of that, I look forward to seeing what happens next with Putrika, and to be able to share with you the kind of plans for the future after we finish it. But it'll be exciting nonetheless. So thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for being a part of the channel. And until the next video you're watching me up to see me in next. I'll see you there.